Meanwhile, Illinois' latest law regulating artificial intelligence is getting attention across the country. Joining us to discuss this further is Jim Malachowski, co-founder and chairman of Chicago-based AIQA Global. Jim, thanks for taking time with the states. The governor, he signed a law that he says was first in the nation in Illinois. What is it about Illinois' law concerning artificial intelligence regulations that could send ripples similar with similar policies all across the country?
So, Greg, thanks for having me. There are similar laws that have been passed, notably in California and other states. What's different about the new Illinois legislation is it's the first law to have a real accountability to it. So this law adds an audit requirement to the large providers of AI services to comply with the safety provisions that they publish. The second thing that's different is if you fail to meet those requirements, there are real financial penalties where the other laws simply don't provide them.
Now, some of the conversation about this is independent AI assurance. What exactly does that mean, and why does it matter in this conversation?
Yeah, so there's two aspects to what independence really means. The first is there a statement of AI governance that will be published by these AI providers so that the public can understand how they're regulating this technology? Then we get to the independence, which the Illinois is first to require an independent auditor to review those governance statements to be sure that they're following the rules that essentially the AI providers set for themselves. So it's the first step in the process.
So how should companies see what's happening in Illinois and, as you said, in similar states to prepare for growing expectations around AI accountability? It seems that AI is being just sprinkled in practically every facet of society.
Your question is really good because it lays out the primary issue, which is to date, all of these regulations, Illinois and the other states, have focused on the large AI providers, the ChatGPT, OpenAI, the Claude, Anthropic, the Grok, et cetera. They are not focused on small, medium, or even large businesses who are users of AI. Now, to answer your question, what did the state laws foretell for that? I think it's moving us into a greater position of AI accountability along the same lines of financial disclosures. So companies publish financial results. If you're a public company, you have those audited, and we're getting to a very similar place with AI governance and assurance. I don't know how many years that'll take, but it's what's coming.
Well, Jim, shouldn't this be something left up to the federal government? I mean, we get into these conversations, I remember years ago, and conversations about how to regulate the internet. States looking at doing that. Well, they have their boundaries, and the internet's global. Similar to AI, right? I mean, we've got 50 different states. Is it good to have patchwork of different types of regulations pop up all over the place? Is that too confusing?
I think the short answer is it's not good. It is too confusing. There's really a triangle of solutions. So solution one is all the states adopt their regulation. That's got the challenges your question implies. Solution two is the federal government adopts regulations. And then solution three is that the market itself self-polices. AI is a global issue. And so clearly the government has some interest in understanding the US position versus China or others. But hopefully our view is that the best source, because the technology is changing so rapidly, is that the way to keep in front of it is private market regulations, just like, again, companies will audit their financial statements because the bank wants them audited, not because the government tells them to.
Jim, finally here, we're talking a lot about government regulations here, but outside of whatever the government regulates or not, what should individuals and parents do to guard themselves from any possible harms that there may be from artificial intelligence outside of whatever recommendations or regulations there may be from government?
Yeah, first thing they should do is just become familiar with the technology. I'm a parent. For a parent, start to use whatever your available model is, Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, because you'll very soon understand the power of these technologies and how they can be beneficial, but also misused. Once that's understood, then there's regulations you can put in at the family level, as challenging as that may be. But if you want to educate yourself at a more fundamental level, that's what the Illinois law is intending to do. And the large models are now going to have to publish how they regulate themselves, and there will be accountability if they fail to meet those guidelines.
Jim Malachowski, co-founder and chairman of Chicago-based AIQA Global. Greatly appreciate you taking the time here for the States.